Welcome back, watchers! In today's video, we're delving into the tumultuous landscape of the past decade, exploring 10 gripping international scandals that have left an indelible mark on global politics, business, and society. From the seismic revelations of Edward Snowden and the NSA leaks, to the automotive industry shaking Dieselgate scandal, the eye-opening exposure of offshore accounts in the Panama Papers, and much more. Interested? Just keep watching. Number 1. Edward Snowden, a former NSA contractor, gained international attention in 2013 when he revealed classified documents exposing extensive surveillance programs run by the United States National Security Agency. Snowden disclosed the agency's widespread collection of phone records and internet communications, sparking a global debate on privacy and government surveillance. Fearing prosecution, he fled to Hong Kong and later sought asylum in Russia. While some view Snowden as a whistleblower and a defender of privacy rights, others consider him a traitor for leaking sensitive information. The revelations led to increased scrutiny of government surveillance practices and triggered discussions on the balance between national security and individual privacy.
When you're in positions of privileged access, like a systems administrator for these sort of intelligence community agencies, you're exposed to a lot more information on a broader scale than the average employee. And because of that, you see things that may be disturbing.
Number 2. The Volkswagen emission scandal, also known as Dieselgate, erupted in 2015 when it was revealed that Volkswagen had equipped its diesel cars with software designed to cheat on emissions tests. The software recognized when the car was undergoing an emissions test and adjusted the engine performance to meet regulatory standards. However, during normal driving conditions, the cars emitted pollutants at levels well above the legal limits. The scandal had severe consequences for Volkswagen, leading to a global recall of affected vehicles, billions of dollars in fines and settlements, and damage to the company's reputation. Top executives resigned, and the incident prompted increased scrutiny of emissions testing and regulation in the automotive industry. Number 3. The Malaysian 1MDB scandal unfolded in 2015 and involved allegations of massive corruption and misappropriation of funds from the One Malaysia Development Berhad, or 1MDB, a state-owned investment fund. Billions of dollars intended for economic development projects were allegedly siphoned off to fund luxury real estate, artworks, and even the production of the film The Wolf of Wall Street. The scandal implicated then Prime Minister Najib Razak, who was accused of receiving large sums of money from the fund. Investigations were launched globally, leading to arrests, asset seizures, and legal actions in several countries. The scandal had significant political ramifications in Malaysia, contributing to Najib Razak's electoral defeat in 2018 and raising questions about financial governance and accountability. Number 4. The Panama Papers scandal, exposed in 2016, was a massive leak of confidential documents from the Panamanian law firm Mossack Fonseca. The leaked documents revealed how the firm assisted individuals and entities worldwide in setting up offshore companies to evade taxes and conceal wealth. The papers implicated numerous politicians, celebrities, and business leaders, uncovering a complex web of financial secrecy. The scandal led to investigations and resignations across the globe as governments probed the extent of tax evasion and money laundering facilitated by these offshore accounts. The Panama Papers served as a catalyst for increased international scrutiny on financial transparency and the fight against tax evasion.
When journalists pressed the Prime Minister last month about reportedly selling a company in the British Virgin Islands to his wife for $1, he walked out of the interview.
Number 5. Brexit, short for British exit, refers to the United Kingdom's decision to leave the European Union following a referendum held in June 2016. The majority vote in favor of leaving triggered a complex and lengthy process of negotiations between the UK and the EU. The departure had profound political, economic, and social implications, leading to the resignation of then Prime Minister David Cameron and the appointment of Theresa May as his successor. The negotiations were characterized by challenges, including debates over trade agreements, the Northern Ireland border, and the future relationship between the UK and the EU. Ultimately, the UK formally left the EU on January 31, 2020, initiating a new phase of defining their relationship and adapting to the consequences of this historic decision. Number 6. The Cambridge Analytica scandal emerged in 2018 when it was revealed that the British consulting firm Cambridge Analytica harvested the personal data of millions of Facebook users without their consent. The data was obtained through a third-party app that collected information not only from the app users, but also from their Facebook friends. This data was then used to create detailed psychographic profiles for political advertising purposes. The scandal raised concerns about privacy and data protection, leading to increased scrutiny of social media platforms and their handling of user information. Facebook faced significant backlash, and CEO Mark Zuckerberg testified before the US Congress, resulting in calls for stricter regulations on data privacy in the tech industry.
Could somebody call you up and say, I want to see John Kennedy's file?
Absolutely not.
You have the right to put my data, a name on my data, and share it with somebody.
I do not believe we have the right to do that.
Do you have the ability?
Technically, I think someone could do that, but that would be a massive breach. So we would never do that.
It would be a breach.
The incident highlighted the potential misuse of personal data in the era of digital advertising and prompted discussions about ethical practices in the tech industry. Number 7. The Iran nuclear deal, formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, was a landmark agreement reached in 2015 between Iran and the world powers, including the United States, China, Russia, the United Kingdom, France, and Germany. The deal aimed to curb Iran's nuclear program in exchange for relief from economic sanctions. In 2018, then US President Donald Trump unilaterally withdrew the United States from the agreement, citing concerns about the deal's effectiveness and Iran's border regional activities. The withdrawal strained diplomatic relations and heightened tensions in the Middle East. The remaining parties to the deal, including Iran, expressed commitment to preserving the agreement, but subsequent developments complicated its implementation and raised uncertainties about the future of nuclear non-proliferation efforts in the region. Number 8. Telegram Gate. Puerto Rico's Telegram Gate, also known as Chatgate, unfolded in 2019, when leaked private messages from the encrypted messaging app Telegram revealed controversial and offensive conversations among Governor Ricardo Rossello and members of his inner circle. The messages included derogatory language, sexist comments, and even jokes about Hurricane Maria victims. The leaked messages triggered widespread public outrage, leading to massive protests across Puerto Rico demanding Rossello's resignation. The protests, fueled by both the offensive messages and broader discontent with government corruption and economic issues, eventually forced Rossello to step down in August 2019. The incident highlighted the power of social media in mobilizing public opinion and holding political leaders accountable for their actions. Number 9. The Hong Kong protests of 2019 were a series of large-scale demonstrations and civil unrest that emerged in response to a proposed extradition bill that would have allowed individuals to be sent to mainland China for trial. Concerns about eroding freedoms and autonomy under Chinese rule fueled the protests, which evolved into a broader pro-democracy movement. Millions of Hong Kong residents took to the streets, leading to clashes with the police. The protests marked one of the most significant challenges to Beijing's authorities since the 1997 handover of Hong Kong from British to Chinese rule. Despite widespread public outcry, the extradition bill was eventually withdrawn, but the protests continued, highlighting deep-seated grievances about governance and political autonomy in the territory. Number 10. Australia's bushfire crisis unfolded in 2019 and 2020, marking one of the most devastating wildfire seasons in the country's history. Intense heat waves, prolonged drought, and strong winds created the perfect conditions for wildfires to spread rapidly across large areas. The fires, which began in 2019 and continued into 2020, resulted in the loss of human lives, destruction of homes, and extensive damage to ecosystems. The scale and intensity of the bushfires captured global attention, prompting discussions about the impact of climate change on the frequency and severity of such events. The crisis also led to widespread efforts for emergency response, relief, and discussions about long-term strategies to mitigate the impact of future bushfire seasons. Now, if you'd like to keep watching, check out one of these intriguing videos.